Hi, good evening. I hope you guys are keeping well. Um, so today we are on page number 87 as we are going to conclude Destination Moon, which is on page number 86. So we yesterday we just finished whatever was left over from the poem Refugee Blues, and today we are just concluding this small extract. So we stopped on the second paragraph on page number 87, and I'm just continuing from paragraph third. So this small extract is taken from from a book, and the name of the book is India's Quest for the Moon, Mars and Beyond by Pallav Bhagla and Subhadra Menon. So this is a story about how India is trying to has tried to put its first mark, in the field of space and research technology. Excuse me. And how with the beginning of with Chandrayaan one, one of the first space mission that was sent by India in 2008, and they are talking about the expense. They're talking about the probability of competing with the other countries, as in why it is so important and why was it so necessary to be part of that research group. So, international collaboration and partnerships have always characterized scientific research in India, and the moon mission was no different. In the past, there has always been instances or examples where India has taken partnership with other countries in order to promote or in order to get on a research. So other countries have always helped India to take part in these missions, particularly the moon mission. While planning the mission, and when India, when the research team, when they decided to plan Chandrayaan one, the space research community in India, the space research community who was responsible for this Chandrayaan one, had earmarked 10 kg for payloads from other countries, because this was the first time where India was launching a satellite program, a space research program, independently, and so India did um, invite other countries to put their payloads. Payloads is nothing but the maximum amount of weight that you can send. It's on the meaning says on page number 88 that you can send on the spaceship. So amount of goods or material carried. So initially, as now we know that India had always been part of these space programs, and how there must be other countries who had let India to take to send their payloads on the space ship. So this was the first time when India was inviting other countries to do that. So as for payloads from NASA, Bulgaria were on board Chandrayaan 1, which is a big achievement because now India is taking other countries' payload. These payloads have certain materials which are very important for their research in the interest of field that they are taking. And as for Michael Griffin, administrator of NASA, he said India and the US are not racing to go to the moon. This is not a competition that India and the United States of America are racing to, as in who will set foot on the moon. We can hope to go together. You know, I think as adults, there comes a sense of responsibility, universal responsibility, where we tend to take responsibilities for the entire universe. And so it's maybe maybe it'll come in the news as that in case if India did manage to do that, that India was the first country. But when we are talking about research programs, um, the book, the author is trying to say that everyone is working, in a collaborated manner, taking help from each other. This is not a one man show. It is a teamwork that they are focusing on. Chandrayaan 1 paved the way for India's future plans like a soft rover landing on the moon. This was, I should say, the first stepping stone for India, where they were planning to do further research in detail about the significance of existence on the moon. A manned mission in space, a manned landing on the moon, and the use of the moon as a straight point for missions to Mars and beyond. So basically, the objective was that how we should land, how we should research about the probability of any existence of living thing on moon, and how we can move forward to study Mars, after moon. It placed India squarely in the galaxy of scientifically advanced nations. This was one of the biggest achievements in the field of space research for India. So now we were going neck to neck with other countries who were dedicated, who had a dedicated set of team workers working continuously for years and years to come to a point of research. It made India part of a small and select group of countries that had um, okay. It placed India squarely in the galaxy of scientifically advanced nations that seek to answer the unanswered and explore unexplored frontiers. We always, let's just talk about in a layman's language. I think there are proverbs where lovers are trying to promise to each other, where they think that I'll reach to the stars, I'll reach out to the sun, I'll reach out to the moon for you. But then when we are talking about it technically in terms of research, these things are not easy, and there are so many questions that needed to be unfolded. There are so many theories that needed to be proved. So, and this is how India started getting into that group, who was a group of countries who was ready to take research in an advanced step. It made India part of a small and select group of countries that have the capability to observe planets directly and with scientific rigor. So, amongst so many countries, India was one of the countries who was taking such keen interest in these research programs, and at the same time, they were researching other planets also directly after moon. More than the value of the chemical data, the impactor was to ensure that India's tricolor, which it carried, be placed for eternity on lunar soil. You know, what could be more special than the Chandrayaan one, when it was supposed to, as we read in the above paragraphs, that what was its job. It was supposed to take the payloads, and it was supposed to land on the moon um, uh, from uh, from a distance of 100 kilometers, and then it was to place a remote sensing, and all this was supposed to be carried with the Indian tricolor flag, so that it marks that day. Yes, this was one of the stepping stones of India, where they landed the first space mission with the Indian flag. This would make India one of the few countries, the other countries being the United States, Russia, and possibly Japan, to attempt placing their flag on the moon surface. So now we come to know that United States and Russia, they have already placed their flags on the moon, and India was one of them. If the day comes when the spoils of the moon are to be shared among the nations of the world, quite ironical, India cannot afford to be left out. I don't think, um, well, keeping, when we are talking about things politically, yes, I think there's always a sense of division, as in which country um, wants a certain piece of land in anywhere in the world. But the author is trying to say that if a day comes when the moon is also supposed to be shared, if countries are trying to claim, as in who, which part of the moon belongs to who, so I think India also can claim some part of the moon because they placed their tricolor, and the Indian tricolor would be a reminder of that claim. So, and that would be a reminder that yes, India stepped on the moon. This is on a very lighter note. We are not talking about taking uh, dominance on the moon, but more than that, most important, what really is important is that uh, we want to we want to claim, not, we do not want to claim, India does not want to claim moon, a part of moon, but the claim is that how India is walking, neck to neck with other developed countries, as we are a developing countries, other developed countries in the space of in the field of space research. So this is the end, and it was quite short. Although I know it is not one of the most interesting topics that you would want to read, but then because it's one of the in our syllabus, so we'll have to do it. We can't help it. We'll go to page number 88.